the Easy Way podcast, where simple tips become real results. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Hello to all our listeners, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Easy Way podcast. I am Peter, and today we are going to travel together. We are going to explore the vocabulary of airports, specifically the stressful moment of checking in for a flight. I think our listeners will learn a lot from my mistake.
I love hearing about your travel disasters. Please set the scene for us. Where were you exactly, and what was happening around you? We want to imagine the environment.
Okay, picture this. It was 6 a.m. at the international terminal. The airport was incredibly busy. There were people everywhere with huge suitcases. I was standing in a very long line for the airline check-in counter.
6 a.m. is very early. The airport is usually chaotic at that time. Were you tired, or were you excited about your trip to London?
I was very sleepy, but I was also anxious. I was holding my large suitcase and my backpack. Finally, it was my turn. I walked up to the counter. The airline agent looked at me and said, "Good morning. May I see your passport and ticket, please?"
That is the standard question. May I see your passport and ticket? It is a simple request. You just need to hand over the documents. So, what happened next?
I confidently reached into my jacket pocket to grab my passport. I felt inside the pocket, but my hand touched nothing. It was empty. I checked my other pocket. Empty again.
Oh, no. That is the worst feeling in the world. When you think you lost your passport at the airport, your heart stops beating. Did you check your backpack?
Yes, I started to panic. I put my backpack on the floor and unzipped it. I was searching through my clothes, my books, and my snacks. I was throwing things on the floor. My face was turning red because the people in line behind me were watching me.
That sounds like a nightmare. The pressure from the line behind you makes everything worse. People get very impatient at the airport. Did the airline agent say anything to you?
She was very polite but looked annoyed. She asked, "Sir, do you need a moment to step aside?" I said, "No, please wait. I know I have it." I was sweating. I emptied my entire bag on the counter. Socks were flying everywhere.
Socks on the check-in counter. That is very professional, Peter. So, where was the passport? Did you leave it at home? That would be a tragedy.
Suddenly, I looked down at my left hand. I was holding a travel magazine and a cup of coffee. And guess what was inside the magazine? My passport. I was holding it the entire time.
No way. You were holding it in your hand while you were searching your bag. That is hilarious. It's like looking for your glasses when they're on your head.
Exactly. I felt so silly. I handed the passport to the agent and apologized. She just smiled and shook her head, but I learned a valuable lesson about keeping my documents organized.
That is a funny climax to the story, but it teaches us to be calm. Once you gave her the passport, did she ask you about your luggage? Usually they ask if you checked your bags yourself.
Yes, she scanned my passport and then asked, "Are you checking any bags today?" This is a key phrase. Checking a bag means giving your large suitcase to the airline to put in the cargo area of the plane.
That is an important distinction. We have checked luggage, which goes under the plane, and carry-on luggage, which you take with you to your seat. Did you have a carry-on?
Thankfully, it was 22 kilograms, just under the limit. If it is over the limit, it is called overweight baggage. The fees for overweight baggage can be very expensive.
I always weigh my bags at home before I leave. It saves so much stress. After she took your bag, did she give you your boarding pass?
Yes, she printed a piece of paper. This is the boarding pass. It is different from a ticket. The ticket is what you buy. The boarding pass is the document that allows you to enter the airplane.
That is a crucial difference. Many students confuse ticket and boarding pass. The boarding pass has your seat number and the gate number on it.
Exactly. She circled the gate number with a pen and said, "Your flight departs from gate B12. Boarding begins at 10 a.m." Boarding means the time when passengers start entering the plane.
Gate is another essential word. The gate is the specific door in the airport where your plane is parked. You must check the screens because sometimes the gate changes.
That is very true. I always check the electronic screens every 30 minutes. So I took my boarding pass and my passport. I made sure to put them in a safe pocket this time.
Good idea. Nowadays, many people use a digital boarding pass on their phones. It is very convenient, but you must make sure your phone battery is charged.
I prefer the paper version. I'm afraid my phone will die or break. I'm a little old-fashioned with travel documents. I like to hold the paper in my hand.
I understand that. Paper is safer. Let's talk about another document, the visa. Did you need a visa for your trip to London?
For this trip, I did not need a visa because I was a tourist for a short time. But a visa is an official stamp in your passport that gives you permission to enter a specific country.
Yes, it is very important to check visa requirements before you travel. If you arrive without a visa, they will send you back home immediately. That would be a true disaster.
Absolutely. Also, the agent might ask, "What is the purpose of your visit?" This is a formal question. You should answer simply, tourism or business.
Purpose of visit sounds very serious. I usually just say, I'm on vacation. It means the same thing as tourism, but sounds more natural for a holiday.
Vacation is the American word. In British English, they say holiday. Since I was going to London, I should have practiced saying holiday.
That is a fun cultural detail. So after you get your boarding pass and drop off your bags, you have to go through security. That is the next big step.
Security is where you scan your carry-on bags and walk through the metal detector. You have to show your boarding pass and ID again. ID stands for identification.
Your passport is your main form of ID when traveling internationally. If you travel inside the USA, a driver's license is enough. But for international travel, the passport is king.
I remember once I forgot to take my laptop out of my bag at security. The security officer shouted, "Laptops out." It was quite frightening. You must follow the rules perfectly.
Yes, liquids and electronics usually need to be separate. It helps the X-ray machines see clearly. Traveling requires a lot of preparation and patience.
Let's go back to the check-in desk for a moment. Sometimes you can choose your seat. The agent might ask, "Do you prefer a window seat or an aisle seat?"
Oh, that is the most important question. I always choose the window seat. I love looking at the clouds and the view. What about you, Peter?
I am the opposite. I prefer the aisle seat. The aisle is the walkway in the middle. I like it because I can stand up and stretch my legs without disturbing anyone.
That makes sense. The middle seat is the one nobody wants. If you get the middle seat, you are very unlucky.
True. If you don't choose early, you might get stuck in the middle. That is why checking in online before you arrive at the airport is a good tip.
Online check-in usually opens 24 hours before the flight. You can confirm your details and choose your seat from your computer at home.
If you check in online, you can sometimes skip the main counter and go to the bag drop area. It is much faster than the line I waited in.
So next time, Peter, you should check in online. Then you won't have to panic about finding your passport in front of a long line of people.
I take this to heart. You are right. I will definitely do that. But even with online check-in, you must have your documents ready. Organization is the key to stress-free travel.
Let's imagine a scenario where the flight is delayed. This happens often. What does the agent say, or what do you see on the screen?
You will see the word delayed in red letters on the screen. It means the plane is late. Sometimes they announce, Flight 202 has been delayed due to weather.
And if the flight is canceled, it means the plane is not going at all. That is when you need to talk to the airline agent to book a new flight.
Book a flight is a useful phrase. It means to reserve or buy a ticket. If your flight is canceled, the airline must rebook you on the next available flight.
I hope that never happens to our listeners. We want everyone to have on-time departures. On time means the plane leaves at the correct scheduled hour.
I think we have covered the most important parts of the check-in process, from the documents to the luggage and the seating. It is a lot of vocabulary.
It is, but it is very practical. If you know these words, you can navigate any airport in the world. English is the international language of aviation.
That is a great point. Even in non-English speaking countries, the signs and announcements are usually in English too, so this lesson is useful everywhere.
Peter, did you eventually enjoy your coffee after you found your passport, or was it cold by then?
It was a little cold, but I drank it anyway. I needed the caffeine to recover from the shock. Now, are you ready to review what we learned today?
I am ready. Let's do our guided repetition. We will reinforce the vocabulary so our listeners never forget it. I will start with the documents.
Great. The first word is passport. This is your official government document for international travel. Please show your passport.
Next is boarding pass. This is the paper or digital document that allows you to get on the plane. You cannot board without a boarding pass.
Then we have check-in counter. This is the desk where you meet the airline agent. I waited in line at the check-in counter.
We talked about luggage. Carry-on is the small bag you take with you. Checked bag is the big suitcase that goes under the plane.
A very important verb is weigh, to measure how heavy something is. The agent needs to weigh your suitcase.
And the location word, gate, the specific door where the airplane is waiting. Go to gate B12 immediately.
Don't forget the seat types. Window seat is next to the window. Aisle seat is next to the corridor. I prefer an aisle seat.
And finally, the word delayed. This means the flight is late. My flight was delayed by 2 hours.
Now let's summarize the main actions of the story. First, Peter arrived at the airport early and stood in a long line.
Second, the agent asked for his passport and Peter panicked because he could not find it in his pockets or his bag.
First, I realized I was holding the passport inside a magazine the whole time. It was a funny mistake.
Fourth, Peter checked his luggage, got his boarding pass, and learned his gate number. He successfully finished the check-in.
Today we learned that you must be organized at the airport. Keep your documents in a safe and visible place. Do not hide them in magazines.
And we learned the difference between a ticket and a boarding pass. This is crucial for all travelers.
Thank you, Bella, for helping me tell this story. I hope it helps our listeners feel more confident on their next trip.
It was my pleasure, Peter. I hope everyone has safe travels and no lost passports. Keep practicing your English.
Thank you for listening to the Easy Way podcast. Have a wonderful day and fly safe.
Goodbye, everyone. See you in the next episode.